We hear it all the time. If you want to get big, then you have to eat big. But what happens when you get big, and I mean so big that you win the Olympia? What do you eat then? Well, I've done my research. And when I mean research, I mean social media stalking. And I've come to a conclusion. In this video, I'm gonna eat everything that Ryan Terry, Keone Pearson, Samson Dauda, and Chris Bumstead ate once they stepped off the Olympia stage. And I'm gonna be starting off with the best division in the world. Ryan has always been known for his insane inside-out level of conditioning whenever he touches the stage, and for wearing blue board shorts, so you know we had to put on our manifest. But the thing that I love most about Ryan is not just who he is on stage, but the balance that he has off the stage. Yes, he eats his chicken and rice, but he also eats French toast. All right, can I just get the French toast, a side of sausage, bacon, and eggs? It looks like the champ had 2 bacon, 2 sausage, so that's what we're doing. Knowing that I wanted to make this video, I had to do 2 things. One, I had to make sure that I paid very close attention to each athlete once they stepped off stage to make sure that I screen recorded exactly what they were eating, which would likely be on their story and not actually as an Instagram post. So I had to make sure that, again, I captured it in a very short amount of time. And then I had to make sure that with me just stepping off the Olympia stage, that I made sure that my body was actually able to process and take in this food without doing too much damage. So right after the show, I had a sushi meal, I kept it pretty clean, and then now, since the show, I've never ate off plan. I've been following my reverse diet perfectly, knowing that I wanted to enjoy myself just a little bit too much today. Thank you. Ooh. Who do you think looks better in this comparison? Pick.
Left.
Left?
Yeah.
Ooh. Ali Bilal. Guys, that is just how close the Olympia was. Like, it is truly apples and oranges, and it's nuts, man. Like, such a subjective sport because you truly never know. Like, Ali Bilal looked nuts, but Ryan Terry had a lot of strengths that just, I don't know, he had more balance, I think, to his physique. But nonetheless, let's stop talking bodybuilding. Let's get into this.
A situation where my eyes were bigger than my stomach.
We are almost done. We're going to finish this meal, and then we're going to go see what Keone Pearson did to celebrate his Olympia 212 title. Keone Pearson has always been known for his insane shape and structure. He started off in the classic physique division before making his transition to the 212, where he just won back-to-back Olympia titles. Now, there's a good chance that his genetics would allow him to get away with meals like this, but for me, this just might cause internal civil war. So me having a relationship with Keone, I actually just DM'd him and asked him specifically, dude, what are you eating after the Olympia? And he said he's keeping it very simple. He's just gonna have a bacon cheeseburger, and then he's going right back onto plan. So he's a true champion. But I remember back in the day when Keone used to kind of just let loose, he used to eat everything in sight. So I thought it would be a little bit more extravagant, but honestly, the basics are the basics. And that's the one thing you'll notice about bodybuilders. We pretty much keep things the same. Now, Keone did get a pickles on his burger, but I'm sorry. I just can't do it. I can't do it. But nonetheless, first ever experience in Shake Shack. Guys, there's no secret. Bodybuilding is a very, very taxing sport, not only physically, but also mentally. And the thing that I love about Keone the most is that he embraced that side of it. And he actually decided to stop competing just a few years ago to focus on his mental health for that season, foregoing the Olympia. He said, there will always be multiple shows I can do, but there's only one of me that I need to focus on right now. And he took that time, and he got a lot of scrutiny, tons of it. And ironic, it was a point that I was going through a lot of trouble and trials and tribulations in my own life, and seeing somebody prioritize the off-stage version of themselves rather than the on-stage version of themselves, it really gave me a perspective change that I needed at that time. You know, I was young, I was impressionable, and I was really hoping or finding myself just wrapped up in bodybuilding, like my whole identity. Then I realized, like I said, I'm so much more than a bodybuilder, and I needed to make sure that I prioritize, you know, the internal side of me, the mental side of me. And that's honestly what I'm doing this year, you know, and it was just lessons that I've learned from people like Keone, a true champion who went against the grain and went against a lot of people were saying and speaking ill about him. But now look at him, a two-time champion, one of the most genetic elite freaks of all time, and there's nobody, when I mean nobody was even close to him. And just like that, this thing has been attacking me. Last bite, best bite, going down. Now, I haven't had a burger in like 6 months. This was it. I'm coming back here for my next cheat meal. And for our next champion, we have the People's Champ, our 2024 Arnold Classic champ, and your new open bodybuilding champ in Samson Dauda. And the best thing about Samson's post-show meal is that it's my favorite cheat meal. Let's go in. You think Samson can fit in these pants? So after the show, Samson went out to eat at a nice steakhouse with his friends, his family, his wife, and we're following suit. So we have my wife here, Lindsay, Chase, and what's funny is this is my true first post-show meal, and now I get an opportunity to actually have my first date night, so we're gonna enjoy this one to say the least. But Samson, he got a big steak, not just a normal steak, so we gotta make sure we save enough room because this one's gonna hurt. .32-ounce tomahawk steak. If you want to get big, you gotta eat big. I'm gonna get bigger than Samson Dauda as well. The thing that I love about Samson the most is the fact that he went against the grain. Samson has a track record of falling short at every single show, and I can relate to it, but he changed all that up this year. Not being coached by the gurus, not being coached by the biggest names in bodybuilding, but instead, he was coached by his wife. You heard that right. He was coached by his wife, and that decision led him to not only winning a show just 2 weeks before the Olympia, but then winning the Olympia, and $600,000. So his story is inspiring, and it should inspire all of you guys out there. And you guys thought that I would forget the greatest bodybuilder, classic bodybuilder of all time, especially after he retired? Absolutely not. So the good thing about Chris and Samson, the reason why we're wrapping them all up in one is because Chris actually also had a steak, a tomahawk nonetheless, but he also had a dessert. In the dessert, we had to get creative because we didn't have exactly the one that he had, but we layered it. We wrote congrats, even though I placed last, but it's okay. We're gonna smash this now.
Oh, don't make
Oh my god, now that's fire.
Don't make a mess.
Eat it.
I thought you were gonna smack it.
No, and it was like fucked up.
Fun fact, guys, I hate chocolate, and this is literally all chocolate. But we do have a little bit of ice cream sandwich in here, so I'm just scooping out the vanilla part. Though. Full day of eating like an Olympian champion, or at least what they ate post-show, is down. My stomach right now after this meal definitely hurts, but this is what it's about, man. And I'm gonna continue to do weird, crazy content for you guys. Probably not around food because we got an Olympia to prepare for, and what I mean prepare for, to not suck at again, but we're coming for it, guys. I'm serious, and this is going to be one hell of a year. I never typically make YouTube videos like this ever when it comes to food because I'm so structured. I try to focus on my meal plan, but this is one that I wanted to do now for like the past 2 years. But we finally did it. I made a promise to myself, and it's a messy one. And I'm going to have a date with my toilet later on, but it was definitely worth it.